Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Franson from Franson Family Chiropractic. Can you believe it's September? Can you believe it's back to school? I know we all hate to see summer go. I love spending so much time with the kids during the summertime. I just love all that free time. But you know what? It's time for them to head back to school, so this is perfect timing for this video blog. That we're going to talk about today is just the 5 strategies that my wife and I employ successfully in our house to make sure that our kids get a great start to the day. So, I'm going to start with a major premise, and the major premise is that healthy kids are happier kids, and happier kids are more successful. So we want to make sure that our kids get a great start to their day. We bonfire up their morning. In bonfire we teach that your health is your bonfire, right? So it's that's where your heat and your light and your energy come from. And the way that you eat is your fuel, and the way that you move is your air, and the way that you think is your spark. And those 3 elements come together, and the natural consequence is fire. And if any of the 3 elements are missing, there's no fire. Well, I want my kids bonfired up. I want them fired up for their day. I want them to have a great day. So we look at the typical American morning. What's it sound like? It's usually, everybody's up, rushed, stressed out. Breakfast, if anything, gets rushed. If it is, if they do stop, it's usually a deficient choice or a toxic choice or both. And the kids rush off to school usually with their breakfast in their hand. They're trying to make the bus. They're trying to make carpool. It can be really stressful for a family. I get it. I see it. We got kids going in 2 different schools, 2 different directions. Moms are stressed. Dads are stressed. So you know what? We want to be really deliberate and establish some mechanisms that will protect that environment, because it's just so critically important that we start our day strong. So great days always start with a great morning. I'll paraphrase one of my mentors who said, if you want to master your life, you got to first master your week. And in order to master your week, you got to first master your day. And in order to master your day, you got to first master your morning. So when we look at our mornings, we employ these 5 strategies to make sure that our kids get a great start. So let's start with number 1. Fuel, how they eat. Now, this is a challenge with all families, with all kids. I know, I get it. So what we do in our family is we make sure that we employ smoothies. Smoothies are the best way to make sure that you get nutrition into your kids first thing during the day. We just pack those smoothies with so much nutrition. The smoothie rules are simple. Where's the plants? Where's the fats? Where's the protein? There are plenty of recipes for you on Bonfire at bonfirehealth.com if you want to check it out. But just make sure you got some greens in there. Make sure that you've got some fat in there, and make sure that you've got some protein in there. Unfortunately, most people who do make smoothies, nice work, nice job, but I want to make sure that you're doing them properly so it's not just a fruit sugar bomb for your kids, okay? So especially make sure that you get the greens and the fat in there. I say that smoothies are the ultimate Trojan horse. They're like a delivery system to your kids for like raw vegetables like baby spinach or even kale. You just throw some blueberries at that thing, throw half a banana in there, and it's absolutely delicious and totally nutritious. So number 2 is movement. You got to make sure your kids move. Think about what their day is like. It's typically starting in the car, maybe strapped into a car seat, or in the bus, right? And then they're off to school to sit some more. They sit all day long, right? And, we look at what kids would do in nature, and it's the opposite of what kids would do in nature. When you leave kids alone, what do? They run around, they go around like crazy, right? So we want to make sure that they get the movement in first thing in the morning. Get these kids moving. There's a book that you should read, John Rady's book. It's called Spark, where he talks about the research between the relationship between movement and learning. What the research is now showing is that the way the brain is wired, it's hardwired so that movement and learning actually go together. You see, our ancestors used to have to move to find food, and they used to have to remember where the food was. So now we know that the brain is hardwired in such a way that kids have to move first before they're ready to learn. There's actually a chemical that's released into the bloodstream at the brain level called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And this is the miracle grow for the brain, as Dr. Rady puts it. It actually literally, chemically, neurologically prepares the brain and gets it ready to move, which is like the opposite of what we usually do with our kids. Sit in a chair, be quiet, listen, and learn, right? It's the opposite. So get these kids up and moving. We employ strategies like pillow fighting, or playing street hockey in the garage, or a wrestling match with dad. We actually put a mattress in our house on the floor specifically for movement. Get the kids to jump around on that thing. If they're having a tough morning, or they're sideways, or stressed out, or anxious, or just fatigued, or what have you, get up on the mattress and jump around on that thing. It's a fantastic thing to have in your house. Number three, my wife and I are both chiropractors, so we are the neurotic chiropractic health nut parents. You can laugh at us if you want, but we want to make sure that our kids get a great start to the day. So, we check their spines and nervous systems, and that might sound crazy to some of you, but when you think about it, think about your kids. Think about what they do all the time. I mean, I'm on the sidelines with the parents. I like to coach my kids' sports, and I like to watch. I'm there watching the soccer games. I'm watching the hockey and the football and the baseball. I'm with my kids when they just wipe out surfing or skiing or in the skate park. I mean, you just watch the carnage. I mean, do you think that there's nothing that happens to these kids when they're putting themselves through that? Not to mention carrying on backpacks all day long, texting, text next, sitting there with their iPad and their iPhones. I mean, sitting all day long, how do you feel after sitting all day long? We check our kids' spine and nervous system to make sure that they are clear of interference in the nervous system. Remember, the nervous system is the master system, runs the whole body. I want my kids' nervous system firing. I want my kids to have the best opportunity to grow up healthy and to develop optimally, as opposed to waiting for crisis like you and I were taught. Does that make sense? Number four is make sure that their head is right. There's another book I want you to read. See, now it's homework time. It's back to school. You got more homework. You should be reading The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker. The Happiness Advantage. It's an amazing piece of work. He's out of Harvard. And what the studies are showing is that successful people are successful because they're happy. They are not happy because they're successful. The happiness comes first. So I want to make sure that my kids are happy when they leave the house. I have a rule. Leave the house laughing. Let's leave them laughing. It's amazing. If you just make that a standard for yourself, it changes the culture of your morning. It changes the culture of your home. It changes the spirit of your children. They go off to school smiling and happy and engaged and laughing. You know what? And what's awesome is that it changes your day too. It's a great way to start the day if your goal is that your kids, your family, leave the house laughing. Number 5 is the 2-minute rule. Now, the 2-minute rule, I know we're all busy. I get it. We're all overscheduled and we're overwhelmed and stressed out. I get it. But listen to this. You cannot be present all the time. You cannot be mindful all the time. But you can do this well. You can do the 2-minute rule well, which is the first minute of every interaction with another person in your life and the last minute. Think about this. The first minute that you see, let's talk about your kids, the first minute in the morning together. Be present, be focused, listen, be loving, look in their eyes, touch them, hold them, let them know that they're special. And the last minute, make sure that you are focused. That last minute, that parting moment, quiet down. Be really deliberate about this. Force yourself. Listen to those funny little stories. Listen to those little quirky moments, right? And connect with that person. Look, we all know that our kids are special. Let's make them feel that way. All right, so thanks for giving me this time. I'm Dr. Stephen Franson. If you'd like to learn more, there's always great information here on our blog at fransonchiropractic.com, or look us up on bonfirehealth.com. It's my pleasure to serve. Have an awesome day and a great start to this year. Thanks again.